So how you two been? How's it been going lately?
Oh man,
It's been pretty good, but with Cyberpunk and Christmas, it's been pretty busy.
very chaotic. Yeah.
Cyberpunk. Did you enjoy the game?
Oh yeah.
We did enjoy the game. We have problems with it, as does everyone, but not so much that we enjoyed the negative backlash that it received. That was a little harder on us.
I think we enjoyed the game. I enjoyed it so much that I was watching Matt play it and decided I need to stop watching you play this because I want to play it. And
Yeah,
so
that's
now,
the first time that's ever happened.
right, I've been playing it.
Okay.
But the part that's not so enjoyable is just the the release and the drama and
Yeah. It's hard sometimes when we just want to enjoy video games, but then we go on the internet and find out that everything's on fire.
Is that something you want to go into, or did you already kind of go into it already, pretty much?
I mean, no, we could talk about
we can talk
Cyberpunk. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, so as far as what controversy are you referring to? I mean, I'm aware, kind of.
Right.
But I know you guys are a lot more on the dot of the video game scene than I am.
Yeah. Well, it had a really rocky start, especially on the base/gen consoles, which was a surprise to us after our first day of playing, which was relatively buggy. It was like relatively bug-free. And, there were some bugs and glitches and things, but nothing, just stuff that made us laugh. Nothing that like broke our game. But then when we stopped playing, we went on our phones and it was kind of like that Troy on Community walking into the room and everything's on fire.
Right.
And we investigated that and found out that it was actually
not
a
working.
huge failure of a launch.
Right.
But we were able to experience the game, in a pretty solid state, and we're able to enjoy ourselves. So it's hard to navigate those feelings of like, well, we had a great time, but we understand why other people aren't having a great time. But we don't want to just come out the gate and say we had a great time because people will be mad at us or think that we're lying or or whatever. So it's hard to express
Getting that sponsorship money,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my
straight
God.
from CD Projekt Red or whatever.
Dude, the amount
Exactly.
of people with our last upload that accused us of like only liking the game because it was CD Projekt Red, and a lot of people were commenting like, well, why were you so hard on Jedi Fallen Order? And you like this game, and it's like, we like what we like. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So you still read comments, I see.
Oh, dude. I was
It's
going to ask you
important.
about this because
Is it important?
Yeah,
but okay. Yeah.
No, because that's what I was gonna say. Like, so many people tell us, and we know, not to read the comments,
Yeah.
and it's so hard not to, especially on upload day, and especially with a big upload like Cyberpunk, where we know it's
Sure.
gonna get a little
Spicy.
Yeah, and we want to keep an eye on the top comments so that when people come to our video, they're not coming into.
Okay, so looking at
that.
top comments, I can understand. But do
Oh,
you
no.
go
Yeah.
past that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's bad.
Not all the time, but here's my argument for it. Is most of our comments are really good.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
usually. There's just the occasional controversial game like this or Last of Us 2, or sometimes we didn't enjoy a game as much as the rest of the world, such as Jedi Fallen Order, where we had some issues with it, where the comment sections are a little bit more aggressive. But the way that I approach the comments is I like to know what our audience enjoyed about the video, what they didn't enjoy. We sort of start building inside jokes, and I like to see what people are latching onto, what jokes they thought were funny, so we can sort of, bring that back, or like, but then there's the games like this where the comments are not about the quality of our content or what they like. It's more about the arguing of different opinions.
And the hard thing about that
Sure.
is, like, you're reading all these comments, and then you see one where someone is just completely missing the point of the video
Yeah.
or quoting you, saying something that you absolutely did not say. And it is so hard not to respond and be like, hey, that's not what this video was. I don't know where you got that. you know. So I assume that you're not reading your comments.
No, I mean, I'll look at top comments
Right.
sometimes. Like, that's about the extent, though. Like, I'll maybe look at that, just see the general vibe, make sure I didn't make any mistakes, right? Because that's usually what if I actually made a mistake in something, then I want to, like, okay, I'll pin it and go, hey guys, I actually made a mistake. But as far as general react, like, did they like it? I don't care. But I think we kind of talked about this in the past, where I have a very different approach to it than I think a lot of other YouTube people have. In that I don't. If a video does well or not, I mean, that's, obviously if they were all failing, it wouldn't be great. But like for me, I know which videos will do well, and I know which ones will get not that many views, but it doesn't matter as much to me.
Right.
To me, the presentation of my channel has always kind of been like, this is my cool, it's like my room. It's like, it's filled with all the things I like in it.
Yeah.
And some of them you care about, some of them you don't. And it's fine. That doesn't work. It's not a smart way to run a YouTube channel. It's actually a very stupid way. But I just stubbornly refuse to play the game as well as other people do.
Well, it's obviously worked for you, though.
But I mean, let's just say if I actually did try, or not try, but like actually, put effort into it, it might be a lot more,
right,
doing a lot better than it is. But I'm happy with whatever it does,
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that, I think, when did you guys start your channel again?
2018?
No.
Yeah, November 2018.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
pretty
right.
sure.
November
Yeah.
2018 was our first upload.
And so it's been about 2 years, and how many subscribers now?
1.1
1.1
million.
4 million.
Yeah.
God damn, that is nuts. That is absolutely.
It's been quite a ride. Yeah. It's slowed down quite a bit. Obviously, we had this big explosive growth, and we've kind of plateaued at this point, and that could change. It's YouTube is a fickle mistress.
Yeah, we were really growing really fast there for a while, and now it's like whenever the big tentpole releases come out, we see another huge spike in subscribers. But in between now seems to be a little slower than that initial growth. But yeah, it does seem like YouTube is also going through its own sort of odd time.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, listen, plateauing at 1 million.
Not bad.
No, we're not. We can't complain.
We're fine with that.
We're not complaining at all. Yeah, it's been great, and it's actually kind of nice because during that such explosive growth in the beginning, we didn't even take a minute to enjoy it, or we just were like, gotta keep going. And so for over a year, we did a video a week, and these videos are really hard for us to make. And now we've sort of let ourselves calm down and do maybe 2 videos a month, so every other week, and that way we can make longer, higher quality content without completely killing ourselves.
Right. Which I think has had an effect on our channel, and maybe part of the reason why we have slowed down a bit, because we're not uploading as much, and YouTube likes frequent long uploads.
Here's the thing, though. You've got a nice backlog, though.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah.
So I think you eventually, and you might have already reached this point, but you kind of reach a point where it's like, I have a lot of stuff that people can watch already,
right?
And so you can kind of rest a little easier, like if you need to take more time for yourself.
Exactly.
Like, for me, I always look at some of these big creators, like the big mega YouTube stars or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know, you're like a multi-millionaire already, and you're like, your channel is doing extremely well. Do you need to do like 2 videos every day, every single day? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it just, and listen, if that's like your passion, your ultimate passion, then I 100% respect that.
Right.
But I don't think with every single one, it's entirely the stuff they're making is what they want to make. So for me, it's like I feel like you can afford to, slow down and, enjoy your life a bit more. But I know a lot of people tend to be workaholics in this industry.
Well, I would say we're definitely not workaholics. We definitely work a ton, but I think that for us the passion isn't as many uploads as we can, or as many views as we can, or as many subscribers as we can. Our passion is making that backlog, like you said. We want to make sure that every video we make is as good as it can be in the amount of time we give ourselves to make it, and that when people discover our channel, they have a huge backlog of high quality content, rather than a backlog of content that's like
you have to sift through
that's
a little
like
bit.
a little more like, trendy for that moment, and in a year you wouldn't want to watch it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I also have to assume that huge, big, multi upload a day channels are doing block shoots, filming a bunch of content at once, and then sending it off and not thinking about it again. That may not be the case for everyone, but that's the assumption that I have to make when I see a big channel churning out content.
Yeah.
Which is admirable, smart, very smart to do that. Super smart.
I like how you changed it from admirable to smart. Because I 100% agree with you. It's smart.
I admire the smartness of it. That's the admirable. I admire the thinking, because it's the easier and better way probably to do it.
Yeah.
But for us, we can't do that. I mean, Matt does everything basically.
We've thought about it, we could get a part-time editor or anything, but it's like we just don't feel comfortable. We like the creative side of it, and we want to have control of the creative aspect of it, and that's the part we like. Is
post-production heavily lies on Matt, and
I mean, you're such a good editor, and that's also one of the big draws, right? When at least when I stumbled upon your stuff, it was like, wow, these are really well put together.
Definitely,
really, really funny, but also just the editing alone is extreme. So I totally understand you wouldn't want to hand that off to somebody, because even then they're just emulating what you're like, but I know exactly what I want to do. I only recently hired an editor, and I've been doing this for and I've been doing this for what, 5 years professionally, and before that 10, whatever. So I was editing it all myself, and then actually this year, end of this, only a couple months ago, I finally was like, I guess an editor would be useful. Because, there's, and with that said, I still edit a couple things, only if it's like if I were to do, oh God, I shouldn't say this on here, but if I were to do another skit, because people are like, why don't you do skits? It's like, I don't fucking feel like it. But it's like, if I were to do another skit, I would edit it for sure, because I know exactly how I want it to be. And I am working on a video right now that I am editing personally, because it's a very personal one, and I want to make sure is exactly how I want. But with other stuff I'm making, if I'm eating fucking 20 Doritos or whatever.
I was going to say, are you sending off your food videos? Because that seems like... 99% of the stuff now, my good friend Jay is editing now. Thanks, Jay. Including this podcast. Thanks, Jay. Hey, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
Hey, Jay, thanks. So, it's interesting. We've talked about this in the past, but I've always had the rule for my channel that it's whatever I enjoy doing at the time, right? And right now, what I legitimately enjoy doing is just going, 14 Doritos, huh? Okay.
Honestly,
I've always wanted to try all of these.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I would absolutely love to do videos like that. They have absolutely no business being on our channel, but maybe one day we'll do a dreaded second channel where it's just shit posts,
Gotcha. I think that would do pretty well for you guys. I don't know if have you actually thought about doing a second channel for whatever?
Yeah, we have multiple times for anything, just our long form playthroughs or us just goofing around. B content in addition to episodes of Girlfriend Reviews, is something we talk about a lot. But at the end of the day, it's like we barely survive making the content we have right now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, you guys are doing a lot of Twitch, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we stream everything that we play for our channel on Twitch, so it's all there for everyone to see.
For 60 days.
It is good to hear that, because when's the last time I saw you guys in person? That was
it was a long time ago.
Maybe a year ago, right?
Yeah, it was definitely before the pandemic, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, because of fucking COVID, right? So
right.
Yeah.
And then I remember you guys were pretty it seemed like you were getting pretty tired.
Yeah.
The work was good, but it's it was that period where you gotta listen. I know I remember those days.
Yeah.
I think we found a pretty nice second wind here though with our newer schedule where we give ourselves 2 weeks to make the content, and in addition to that, we've also sort of been easier on ourselves, doing a little more free flow, free writing on the scripts, and just having more just bubbly, fun writing in general, rather than focusing on these bits with strong punchlines, which can take a lot longer to formulate. And that's actually been really fun, and we think the content actually is better.
Yeah.
Doing it that way.
I think what happened there sort of in the middle of our channel's life at this point was we have this huge burst of people coming in. We can't just keep throwing together videos that are just silly nonsense. There's we're feeling like there's an expectation for us to be hilarious all the time and really well-crafted jokes, and so we just started to put this unnecessary pressure on ourselves.
Yeah.
And really at the end of the day, people just want us to make silly jokes about their favorite games, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. So we've kind of eased up on ourselves a little bit, and we moved since last time we saw you. So I quit my job.
Yeah, no, I know.
Managing, so
you were talking about doing that, or
Yeah.
either you
Yeah.
were talking about, or you were just about to. The plans were in motion when I last spoke to you, or
Right.
saw you in person.
Right. So that also, just not having to deal with managing an apartment building, also lifted a huge weight off of our shoulders, and feeling like we have our own space. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So now you're
been
full time,
yeah.
both
Yep.
of you. Congratulations. Also,
Thank you.
it's kind of scary, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm a YouTuber now.
Yeah, that put a little bit of pressure on, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, clearly though, you guys are doing. I mean, you're killing it. I'm always very happy to see you guys' rise and success.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's honestly a huge compliment coming from you. We're big fans, and we feel very lucky to make friends with the people who we've been looking up to for forever,
Well, I appreciate that. Now, I know YouTube is going well, and knock on wood, it keeps going. For me as well, that YouTube just keeps going, it keeps going. But and I know we kind of talked about this in the past, but sort of aspirations. Do you have any other creative aspirations outside of YouTube?
Oh yeah. I mean, we're very realistic about the life cycle of a YouTube channel, and aside from YouTube, I don't think either of us ever thought that we would be. Hold on one second.
Sorry, ProZD. Our
dogs are wrestling. Sorry, our dogs are making a lot of noise.
growling.
Sorry, I don't think
Did
either of
you
us.
just call me ProZD? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
He read your
Sorry.
name on the screen.
It's just the big white letters on the screen right now.
Don't worry about it. Boyfriend review.
I know. Sorry, Sungwon. I had to close the door. I don't think either of us ever thought that we were going to be YouTubers.
Sure.
And so the dream was always acting for me, performing. I grew up singing, dancing, and acting, and went to school for it. And
Sure.
Matt went to school for writing, creative writing. He's always wanted to write and direct and be creative in that way. He's got pilots he's written, and but we both. So at this point, we love Girlfriend Reviews. This is the best possible outcome, obviously.
Sure.
But we know it won't last forever, and we're hoping that we can make enough connections that maybe in the future I'll be doing acting, voice acting, singing, whatever, and Matt will be writing a TV show or something, or a video game. You know, like that would be the dream.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty realistic, like she said, about we know that we are not going to be the next Jacksepticeye or Markiplier, and
Right.
we're probably not going to reach that 20 million subscriber threshold where that's gonna last us for
Where you're like a
decade.
mainstream celebrity at that point.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
we know that YouTube channels do often have a life cycle, and that we may go for 10 years, who knows, but it's probably more around that like 5-year range where either we get burnt out or our audience gets burnt out, or you never know. And so we want to just make sure that we savor every moment and make the best content we can, so that it lasts as long as it can. But then whenever it does fizzle out, either it's YouTube fizzles out for us, or we fizzle out, or our audience fizzles out, we want to make sure when that happens we have some sort of we've made some sort of name for ourselves and have some sort of safety net where we can now say, okay, what do we want to pursue,
Right.
Outside of YouTube,
Sure.
and hopefully have made good enough content and built enough of a fan base where we can bring that to the table and get on someone's radar.
I know that being a YouTuber and trying to market yourself as anything other than that, though, can be sort of a double-edged sword. I know that sometimes it's a marketable thing to be like, hey, I have 1 million subscribers and I can bring them to the table. And other times people are like, oh, they're a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Ooh, so it's, it kind of, it's a, who knows, I guess.
I think you guys will be fine, personally. Like it
That'd be
seems like
great.
your audience. It seems like your audience is quite strong and a good crowd as well.
Yeah, they are good.
And I think I don't know. Like it's interesting. You say 5 years, but honestly, who the fuck knows? YouTube seems to be going. YouTube's what, Google? It seems like it's going okay. Like with that said, I think what was the most important thing to take away from that was savor it, right? Enjoy all
absolutely.
this. You never know what's gonna happen in like 5 years, but also 5 years ago, you never knew this was gonna be where you were at.
No
right?
way.
No, no idea.
So it's like I think just as long as you keep at it like creatively or whatever, I think you'll be fine. Like I don't.
Yeah. But
it's hard to imagine unless you guys choose it and just go, we're done, to just sort of blip out. It doesn't.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant by savor it, is not only just savor how lucky we are and how fun this is, but just like kindle this fire and do as well as we can and not like take it for granted. And so just make the best content we can for as long as we can, and that's basically the plan right now.
But in the dream world, if we were doing something outside of YouTube, I think the ideal situation would be like, oh, Matt is gets to create his own sort of like Rick and Morty thing, and I get to act on it or something like that. That's the dream,
Yeah.
That's my dream right now is like, oh, I'm a side quest in a video game and I sell you something and I go, what are you buying? Or something, like that's the current goal. But like in the dream, like fantasy scape, that's sort of like what floats around in our heads.
Now, have you pursued any voiceover stuff at all?
I actually booked a small commercial that is really not, it's not going to be on TV. I think it's just for their use on their website or whatever online. But that was very exciting for me, so I've officially been paid to voice act. But yeah, I practice it all the time with the channel and with streaming too. But I've taken classes too. So it's something that I'm working on.
And we've been networking with game companies and putting it out there that she is interested in anything whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
I feel awkward like reaching out to companies that we've been talking to about like, oh, we love this game, thank you so much, and then being like, and by the way, if you ever need a voice for something, I'm here. But I feel like it's worth a shot, I guess.
Yeah, sure. I was gonna say, like, I don't know if you ever auditioned for like indie stuff at all, or indie games or anything like that, but there's a lot of that out there. Just that's how a lot of people get their start, is sort of
Right.
getting in auditioning for indie games. I don't know if you have any interest in that at all, but
I absolutely do. I don't really know where to start
I
with
will
getting an audition for an indie
remind
game.
me after this. I'll link you some stuff.
Dude, that would be amazing. That would be awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so now I'm sort of curious about like, okay, yeah, you play video games, blah blah blah, whatever. But outside of
Right.
that, what do you do in your spare time besides?
Boy, not a lot other than video games lately.
Yeah, not since the channel started.
If you had more spare time, and what are other things you like would theoretically like to do or like to do?
I have been dying to get back into theater, and I would love to just be a part of like a community production of something, of a musical or something. Like that would just make me so happy. I would love to be doing that. I used to do aerial silks and hoop and stuff, and I just obviously have not in a long time, but I would love to be doing that again.
Sure.
As far as extracurriculars go, Matt, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't playing games and then writing these scripts with Shelby and then editing these videos basically 24/7, I'd probably be continuing work on my personal projects,
Right.
like just young adult novel I'm working on, and then I got a graphic novel / possible animated series going on. So I'd probably be diving into that
Right.
24/7 instead.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you still work on it from time to time?
Occasionally, yeah, but there's not a whole lot of free time.
Right.
Gotcha.
And if I'm gonna be writing, it's probably that time is best used probably for the channel.
Right.
But in the future, I have a lot of things ready to go if anyone's ever interested.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
Gotcha.
You got some good stuff going on there. But what about you? What are you? I mean, I know you're very into anime and
Board
manga and
games.
board games. What else? Give us a little insight into your interests.
I feel like my interests are pretty transparent, but as you said, yes, board games are my my primary. I wouldn't say primary, but one of my primary hobbies. As I've had you over a couple of times, right?
Yes.
Did we played Wildlands together, right? Do you remember that game? It was like you pick up the jewels and you smash each other on the board with the numbers on it.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I just got sent one of the expansions for that, and I was like, oh yeah, I loved this game. And I'm like, listen, I'm stockpiling a huge pile of games, and once this fucking COVID shit is done,
Oh man.
once vaccines are out or whatever, I'm like, it's time to
It's time. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's talking about how it's affected the movie industry, but the board game
The
board game nights
industry.
have probably come to a complete halt.
I get my fix through online stuff. Like there's Board Game Arena
Yeah.
and other things, but it's not the same. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
No. Better to
Yeah.
look people in the eyes while you crush them.
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. And let's just state for the record, we have never beaten you at
Ever.
anything. I don't think.
No.
Have we won a single
I don't think so.
round of anything?
I don't think so.
I don't think we have.
That tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did we play
Oh, how's
what's up?
No, sorry. I was gonna ask how Anne Marie is doing.
Amory's doing great.
Yeah.
Just stuck at home.
Right.
But she's doing well.
Yeah. She's pretty good at board games too, but
Yeah.
I mean, she must be living with you.
And I think just like no, she's good. Yeah, for sure. Like I think we've been playing them long enough where we both developed our skill points in it. But
Right.
did we also play? No, I'm just remembering things. Did we also play the bike racing one?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
we did.
Flamme Rouge.
That one
that's
I
right.
for sure remember.
Okay, gotcha. Man, playing board games with people in person.
So good.
Wow.
So
What a-
fun.
What a time.
God.
Now, aside from that though, anime, yes, for sure. Manga, which I know you two dabble in, right?
We dabble. I just watched Promised Neverland.
Oh,
recently.
yeah, that's a good one. Did you enjoy it?
I freaking loved it, man. I loved it. Yeah.
Matt, did you watch it as well?
I didn't. I missed out on that.
I watched it without him, but
I
I would
think
be
I was
down to
playing
watch
Dark
it again.
Souls.
Yeah, you were playing Dark Souls,
Okay.
and I needed something to do, so my friend recommended it to me.
I see.
I binged it in like one night.
So, do you have a weeb history, or is anime newer to you?
I have a very short history that's been like stretched out over a long period of time. So
okay.
I have watched a handful of anime, and Matt has too. But I think I've done a little bit more than he has. But I tend to go for like either like really cutesy, Princess Jellyfish, Madoka Magica, or dark like Death Note, Promised Neverland.
Because Madoka Magica is so light and so.
I guess you're right. Yeah, that kind of combines my two loves.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big horror fan. We both are. So horror anime, I really like. So.
Okay. And Matt, are you as well versed or a little more?
Shelby knows a lot more about anime than I do. I'm not uninterested in anime. I would just say I'm a normie.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen that you've enjoyed?
I like the stuff that everyone knows. So I love Miyazaki. Obviously, I have the box set of Miyazaki.
Yeah.
I grew up on Dragon Ball Z. I love Akira. I have the whole, the manga box set of that. Then, things like Attack on Titan. So just like the big, Death Note, obviously. So like just the big ones that like everyone loves, but that wouldn't necessarily make me a weeb.
But you enjoy it when you.
But I do enjoy it, yes. Yeah. And when we find something that's good, I'm all in on it. Right now, I'm really interested in this. I think it's Demon Slayer that's just crushing the box office in Japan.
Yeah.
So now we're thinking about going through that and trying to see this movie when it comes to America.
Gotcha. Yeah. Have you seen? I think you need to see the show though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. We're gonna try to watch that before we watch the movie.
Gotcha. Now, Shelby, Princess Jellyfish, that's dropping some no, that's a great show. That's dropping some that's more than just like casual normie fans. So
well, that's the thing. Like I am all over the place, and really I don't know a lot of anime. So when I say like I loved Princess Jellyfish, I loved Nana too.
Nana's great.
Yeah. But that's like very much like most of what I've watched. I've seen other things obviously, but
my guess is you have weebier friends who recommend stuff to you. Is that
a friend recommended Princess Jellyfish to me, and then I found Nana on Tumblr, I think, back in the day.
Oh, I see. Tumblr.
And I was like, that looks cool. I like that art style. I like those ladies. They look cool. And then I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. So
yeah. Damn, that's some good taste there. Like Nana and Princess Jellyfish. No, yeah. Like, like sometimes I'll ask people this question, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's about right. But when I hear Nana, I'm like, oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
right.
Deep cut, right?
Yes, monocle.
Yes, quite.
No, yeah, that's good shit there. Other than that, I don't know. Video games for me have definitely taken a step back. Like with that said, though, it's like I hyper focus on games. So I'm still playing Animal Crossing.
Oh, really?
Oh, really, really.
I knew that actually because I see you guys talking about it in Discord, and I just haven't been able to jump back into it much unless it's like a holiday and I just want to see what's going on.
Do you know why I'm still playing it?
Tell me.
Oh, it's not even that hard. It's Nook Miles. I have to get all of them.
Oh,
like
really?
That achievement board. I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping until all of them are filled.
I understand.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about my New Leaf history, right?
No, we haven't talked about your New Leaf history.
Oh, I got every gold badge in New Leaf.
Oh my god!
How many hours did that take?
Oh god. I don't want to. Do I even want to know? I played.
And are you time skipping?
No time skipping.
Wow.
I do not time skip. It took me. I played that game every day for about 2 years on 3DS. Do I have my 3DS here? I can. I want to guess. I don't think I hit 1,000 hours, but it was close. I'm gonna guess.
Wow.
I'm gonna ballpark. Let's say 600 to 800 hours, probably.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Wow.
With
Mazel tov. That's quite an accomplishment.
with some of the craziest stuff in that being like getting 90% of all the items in the game.
Wow.
That's one of the badges. Like, just like nothing that any human being that rational human being should try to do. But I was like, well,
But you did it.
Well, for me, it's like those are the video games that suck me in. So like Stardew
Right.
Valley, I think was that when I last talked to you, was I like saying I should try that? I think I mentioned.
I think that I was trying to talk you into playing it actually.
Well, no, I had seen your video and I was talking to you guys like, oh, that looks fun. And then I think you were talking to me about playing. I was like, okay. Did you see what I did with Stardew Valley?
Oh.
Oh, I did literally everything. I 100%ed it.
Oh my god.
I got I
Wow.
did every recipe, got every item. I
Befriended everyone.
I not only did that, I romanced everyone. Like, there's a cheat, not a cheat, but you can cheat your way and
You
get
can finagle it.
everyone to 10 hearts or whatever.
Wow.
I literally did everything you can do in that game.
That's amazing.
We're so proud of you.
No, I don't know if that's exactly what the feeling you should feel, but that's what I mean,
I
right?
feel it.
Is I hyper focus and like the Yakuza games are also perfect like for that for me, right? Like,
Hey, I heard you in Like a Dragon.
oh, yeah.
I played it.
Oh, that's right.
I played it
Yeah.
in English, and I was like, telling everyone gets on your case about playing those games in English, but I was like, you guys, I speak English. I want to hear it in English, and I want to hear Sung Won. I don't care what you have to say. We're doing it, and then you were right there in my face right away. I was so happy.
That's
it was
right,
so
because
good.
Mitsuo appears very early. He's like
Very early.
very early. Yeah.
I was so surprised. I was like, oh, okay, great. There he is.
What do you think of the dub? You can be honest.
It was awesome. It was
I think
awesome.
it's a
No.
very good. I haven't played it yet,
It
but
was
from what
really
I've
good.
heard, like because they started dubbing stuff with Judgment, and then they decided to dub Like a Dragon because it's sort of like a reboot, and I think because the original game had a dub that it wasn't super great,
Yeah.
like back on the PS2 or whatever, but dubbing's gotten a lot better since then, so I'm glad
It
you
was
enjoyed
awesome.
it. Was that your
Yeah, it was
first?
awesome.
Or that's not your first Yakuza game, right?
Yeah, we played Zero.
We played Zero, but this was my first time playing
I
it.
see.
So yeah, it was really fun though. I had a good time. But yeah, the dub was great. I mean, we've played games that have had what would we play the Genshin Impact with English, which was fine. It's serviceable. It's good.
Sure,
it's,
sure.
it does its job,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. It can take you out of it a little bit when you're thinking about the voices. But
Sure.
Yeah,
I didn't
definitely.
think about the voices for 1 second. They were just part of the world,
Yakuza 0 is another game I 100%.
That's a fun game.
Wow.
I-
There's a lot to do in that game
There's,
too.
Yeah.
I think the most difficult stuff in that is, first of all, those goddamn the Sega arcade games. You got to get like perfect.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that
scores
was
on
Matt's
those.
downfall. That was what kept sucking him in.
That almost broke me, but I finally did it. Some of the mahjong stuff is nuts in that, and the
Oh,
fact that
yeah.
I had to learn mahjong in the first place.
Well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's not like matchy American mahjong. It's the real deal, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't figure it out. I just didn't want to waste my time, so I just moved on from that.
Gotcha. Now, I guess the question for you guys is: are you like that with any games where you're like, I gotta get like everything or do everything? Are there any games you?
Yeah,
What
Oh,
are
definitely.
those for you?
for me, like Breath of the Wild was like that. It was like before I went to fight Ganon, I had to do absolutely everything, and then when they released the master version DLC or whatever, I was like, well, I'm starting over.
Oh, you started over? Oh,
Yeah, I
shit.
started over to do it on master mode, and then like just so many hours trying to get every like outfit and just random things. I even wanted to finish the compendium with photographing everything,
Yeah.
but that was taking it a step too far. I gave up on that. But yeah, I did everything I possibly could have wanted to do. So all the spirit orbs, stuff like that before I went and fought Ganon. And then I felt empty inside when it was over.
You know what sucked for me in that game is I didn't go for 100% of that one, but I got every shrine except there's one shrine in the castle or something, right? And
Yeah.
I was looking for it, and then I accidentally found Ganon instead. So I was like, fuck, and I beat him, and then there's still one shrine I got to go back and get that.
Do you think you'll ever do it?
Yeah, at some point, but it's for me, I look at a lot of those like games as maybe when I'm nice and old and just if I still have a Switch and a brain that functions, like maybe I'll go back and it'll always be there.
Fire.
Sitting by the fire, I'll get that last shrine.
Exactly.
It's always there in the back of my mind, and then sometimes I do go back to games like COVID's been an interesting year for like sort of relapsing, and I got back into Cookie Clicker. I don't know if you guys know Cookie Clicker. I got back into.
I've never heard of that.
Never heard of it.
Oh, okay. Cookie Clicker is a website. It's great. It's basically those clicker games where it's like you click this, and then as you get enough, you can buy like a factory that auto clicks for you, and then like blah 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 blah. Blah. Imagine that times a billion. I think it was like one of the first ones, and it's just like the level of detail in it is just gets bigger and bigger and more ridiculous like in scope. It has like I think at this point like a spell system, like a gardening mini game. Like it's just like it's very funny and very embarrassingly engaging. So I got back into that for a bit. Fell back into Civ 5 for like a good chunk. That's another game where I'm trying to go for all the achievements.
Oh man, that'll take a while.
Oh, I know, but I actually made some pretty good progress, sadly, this year in that. I get the sense, though, sorry that I cut you off. I get the sense that, Matt, even if you weren't doing this channel, I assume you'd just be playing video games all the time.
Oh yeah, I'm a big gamer.
Yeah.
I've been gaming since I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
I love video games. I'm an enthusiast for sure.
I am too now.
Which is great. Like I love that sort of, because before I'm sure you like played some, right? But like not to the extent.
Yeah. I grew up with I was really into Dance Dance Revolution, and I did play Animal Crossing Wild World, and I loved Guitar Hero, and just the fun like party rhythm games.
She has Sabrina, Barbie, and Scooby Doo on her Game Boy Advance.
I do, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, I had Nintendogs. So I had like a DS Lite, and I had PS2. And I tried to play Final Fantasy X on my PS2 Slim, and I had no idea what turn-based combat was at the time, and I was just like, "Can I go or what? Like, what is happening? Can I just fight?" I didn't quite get it, but this just having this channel has really opened up a whole new world to me.
Going back to besides Breath of the Wild, and for either of you, any other games that you like have that need to like complete all the way or get every little thing?
Well, what comes to mind is specifically Matt and I both played. I didn't finish it, but we both played Doom Eternal, and a lot of the like progression in the game is doing these little like mini combat areas where they you do it over and over until you can get through it, and it gives you like a point or like a skill or something.
Okay.
And I pretty much actively avoided them the entire time.
Okay.
And Matt is so the opposite, where like every time there's like a combat thing, he had to do it, and he was like, "Oh, you're not gonna be able to beat the game if you don't do them all." And I'm just so like, I don't care. I'm gonna just shoot things in the face and see what happens.
Yeah, if there's any game that I'm enjoying that gives me like weapon challenges, like if you stick your grenade to 10 enemies, you'll unlock this, or like this level has this many secrets in it. Can you find them all? Like, which Doom Eternal is a lot like that.
Okay.
I obsessively cannot enjoy the level or play the game without looking in every nook and cranny, which makes for some funny jokes on our channel, because it really annoys Shelby when I'm like going up to random walls pressing E or whatever to see if it will open for some reason.
It's like, this looks like something could be here. I feel like there's a crack here.
Yeah, or I'm climbing the cliffside even though there's nothing there, and so there's a lot of games where I behave like that. That's what we call jalapa minutes, where I'm just like, especially open world stuff, where I just like cannot leave a check mark unchecked, a box unchecked.
Those classic Ubisoft ass, like, here's 8,000 symbols on this damn
Yes.
map.
Yeah.
Gotta
Or
get
you're
those.
driving around in Cyberpunk and a little question mark comes up and you're like, what's that?
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
over there.
Now, I usually like to give the guests an opportunity. Is there any topic you would like to bring up or any question for me you might have? If not, don't worry about it. I got other shit we can talk about. But I like to give the guests a chance if they would like. Is there anything?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, I can throw out some of my favorite topics and see if any of them vibe with you.
Yeah, what's up?
And see what Shelby thinks. I mean, my favorite topics, are Star Wars. I love Star Wars.
Okay. I am the worst person to ask about that. I'm sorry. I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind about Star Wars.
No,
What else
I'll
do I
just
like?
say for my background with Star Wars is I only saw the original trilogy and I didn't grow up with them, so I saw them. I've only seen it once. I've seen the episode 1. I haven't seen 2 and 3, and I did see 7 and 8. And what was that? What was that dumb one? Rogue something? Rogue One?
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Saw that one.
Dumb one.
I hear Mandalorian is good. I haven't seen that, but it looks
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just
I'm
finished that.
also dumb with Star Wars, but I've learned a lot just by being with Matt.
She's come around though, and at the
Yeah.
end of the Mandalorian
I
season
cried.
2, she was very excited.
I cried.
That
yeah,
one,
no worries.
I'm
We don't-
genuinely interested in that one because it looks just like a fun, almost like Western or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, they're trying to make up for some of the mistakes they made,
Yeah.
and you can tell.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, you guys are big Disney fans, yes?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
that is a topic Shelby loves.
That's a topic
Disney.
I love. Yeah.
You're not a big Disney guy, Matt?
I'm not a huge Disney guy. No, not really. I love Pixar, but I don't really consider that Disney necessarily.
It's adjacent, yeah.
But also same with Star Wars. I don't really consider it Disney when I think about it. But
yeah,
as
I mean,
far as,
it makes your skin crawl if you start calling it all Disney, right? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I totally.
But
get
I
that.
know a lot about Disney, but I'm not someone who's dying to go to Disneyland every other weekend or who's totally excited about the next Frozen movie or something like that.
Okay.
I have a question.
What's up?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Walk me through a day in the life. A day in the quarantine life. What are you doing? I want to know.
So we're not fuck Disney. Let's move on to this. Okay, sure.
I had so sorry. Welcome to my brain. It has
No,
ADHD.
I'm
So
totally on.
sorry.
I'm totally on board for this.
And then we can circle back to Disney. But I had a brain pop.
Sure.
had a brain
Sure. A typical day in the quarantine for me. Okay. I will say when I get up till 5, that's working on stuff, either YouTube stuff or I'll have voiceover sessions or anything that's business related. I try to keep to a sort of 9 to 5 thing for me personally.
That's good.
So for example, today, what did I do today? I recorded some stuff. Now I'm doing this with you guys. I will be doing some other stuff later, with the channel. So it basically depends. If I don't have a voiceover scheduled for the day, then it's mostly YouTube stuff and whatever else I'm working on, professionally. Once 5 o'clock is done, I try to make sure I stop, and then it
That's
depends.
good.
It depends on the day of the week, actually, because for me, what's helped with quarantine is I've sort of scheduled events throughout the weekly that I can kind of look forward to, right? For example,
That's good.
there's one night where some of us do an anime night where we have a block of anime. Each person brings in a show, and then we literally just watch one episode of each show every week. So on that day, so we've actually gone through a lot of shows that I never would have seen otherwise, and that's been a lot of fun. I have a movie night one night. I play Divinity. Are you familiar, Matt? I'm sure you know. I'm not. Of course.
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah. But have you played it? I mean, have you played Divinity?
Yeah, you mean Divinity Original Sin? Correct?
To the second one.
Yeah, I have played the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, we have
I had about 55 hours in it before I got a little overwhelmed.
Were you playing alone or with a group?
I was playing alone. I think I got to Act 4, and I just became overwhelmed with everything, the plot and my characters and the way they're built, and I feel like I was doing it wrong, and I gave up.
Oh shit! Okay, I will say it's really fun in a group.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, we have a party of 4 players that we've been going through it, and we completely fuck everything up. Like every moment in Divinity is always like some like evil like bishop going like, I had a plan to do this, and then we just barge through the door like, who's in here? Oh, oops, and then we kill everybody because we just constantly are doing that. But it's for that XP anyway. It's all for the XP anyway. So I have a night for that, and then just like different things throughout. So if it's one of those nights where I have something planned, I'll usually do that. Maybe play some Animal Crossing beforehand, or hang out with Anne-Marie, or whatever I have, I guess, planned. So that's pretty much my sort of typical day. Is I try to keep it 9 to 5 work, and then
that's
chill
smart
afterwards.
to give yourself the. It's hard for us to end the day ever. We find
so you don't have a hard end. You're just like once we feel like we're done.
Yeah, pretty much. And the schedule is kind of all over the place.
Yeah, it's crazy. We give ourselves like due dates for the videos, and we try our best to stick to it, but that can often mean sometimes having really late nights. I think our Cyberpunk video, I ended up being up till like 5 a.m. on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Trying to finish it up because it just kept taking longer than expected, but I didn't want it to come out after Christmas. I didn't want to be working on Christmas. So yeah.
I see.
Sometimes our schedule gets messed up. Also with the 9 to 5 work, and then after that kind of doing what is more fun or what we would want to be doing. Those 2 worlds are blurred for us often with the gaming aspect of
with
it.
Streaming and stuff.
Yeah, where it's like, streaming is part of the job, but also we want to be playing these games. So sometimes we'll just have sessions that are like, 10 in the morning till 10 at night. So yeah.
Yeah.
Is it fun, or is it tiring, or is it both?
Both, for sure.
Yeah, it's both.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it
can depend
does
on the
wear you
game.
down. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Like we had some really, really long sessions with Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh God.
And, it was fun. In the beginning, it was fun because you were like, "What is going on?" And then you see your characters that you love, and then it just.
But we weren't familiar with the story. I had played the first and second one, I believe, a long time ago when they came out.
That's not enough.
Totally. Yeah, no, I was totally lost, and it was Shelby's first experience with it, so we just felt like we were watching cutscenes of something like. Yeah, that was a hard one.
Yeah.
Then there's just other games that are, even though we love it, they're not really good for long play sessions. So it can really start to wear you down.
What's an example?
You want to get through them. I would say like Last of Us Part 2.
Oh,
we both really liked that game and appreciated like what it tried to do and what it accomplished.
Sure.
But it was so depressing and violent that like after 11 hours in a day, we would just lay in bed with just visions of violence and sadness.
Yeah.
And
that game, like playing it, not even like with the controversy for it or whatever, but just like the story and the visuals and playing it for long sittings, it crept its way like into our real lives, and we were just like sad for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't think of other games. Maybe.
Well, there are game sessions too where like specifically when the PS5 came out, Matt got really into Demon Souls, and that's great. I love that for him.
Yeah,
but I
Shelby,
have to go.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, sometimes it's not the same for both of us. Sometimes I get really into a game and I can play it all day and it feels like I'm just having a great time. But for Shelby to watch, it's just like it's painful.
Yeah, it's exhausting. Yeah.
Like for me, I'll die on a boss or something in Demon Souls, and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get him this time." And Shelby's like, "I have to leave right now."
Away.
Like,
Yeah.
So you don't always have to be there if you don't care about the game, then, right?
Well, yeah. I I'm there all the time for every
Yeah.
game.
She puts in at least 20 hours for every game.
I need to make sure that I get it and that I have witnessed enough of it
Sure.
and then,
Yeah.
I'll bow out if it becomes too long.
Often what we'll do is if it's like Ghost of Tsushima, for example, Shelby will stick around for a lot of the main quests and stuff, and then she will be around for like 8-9 hours. And then if I want to keep playing, me and Twitch chat will move on to the open world bullcrap, and I'll just go exploring and collecting bandanas because Shelby's not here, and we'll do that kind of stuff. But then I'll save the story and the important stuff for Shelby.
Right. That was the case with like Death Stranding too, which I freaking loved. I loved the story of Death Stranding. It was really crazy and weird, but I had to go for a lot of it. I had to go do stuff. I had obligations, but but yeah, I mean and I've noticed also like when I'm playing, it's easier to stay there for longer. But also if I'm using my camera on stream, I get tired faster and I want to like, I don't know, yawn with an open mouth or pick my nose or something, and I'm just over it and I'm ready to go, you know? So, it depends on the situation, I guess.
Yeah, I don't use a camera, so I'm in my underwear covered in Cheeto dust, drinking beer on the couch, so I can go for hours.
Yeah.
I see. Going back to Disney, though.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Thank you for circling back to Disney.
What did you? Were you gonna throw a question at me? I'm just curious.
I just, I guess I would like to know your faves. I know you really are a Goofy fan, and Anne Marie is a Donald Duck fan.
In terms of like the actual characters, I'm probably more of a Donald Duck fan than a Goofy fan.
Oh really?
Yeah.
He's complex.
He's complex for sure. Favorite movie is The Great Mouse Detective.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Every
That's
time
a
I
good
say
one.
that, people are like, "Really?" But it's fucking great.
Well, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's a good one.
Vincent Price. He's just amazing. How about you? What's your favorite?
I want to say The Aristocats is an old fave of mine.
That's a good one.
I just love the music. I think it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I also have this is a very deep cut, but every Christmas I have to watch Disney's Once Upon a Christmas or Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas.
That's the 3 stories, right?
The 3 stories.
We literally watched. We watched that on Christmas Eve this year, in the Discord.
I did too. Yeah. I love that, and I used to have the collections of the really old like Silly Symphony ones. So I just love that stuff too. But yeah, I guess newer stuff. I mean, I love Pixar too. It's really hard to go wrong. But yeah, Aristocats really hits hard for me. Everybody Wants to Be a Cat is just such a banger. Aside from the blatant racism, which I could do without.
Yes. That is a song that as a kid I would jump on the couch during that part when they're on the building and they're crouching down on the piano. I mean, how can you not, right? That song gets you on your fucking feet. Do you have a favorite Disney movie, Matt?
Well, I mean, I grew up on Peter Pan, Robin Hood.
Do you know that he knows every word to Peter Pan?
I have seen videos where he shows off his.
Do you know about that?
Yeah, of course.
My goodness.
Do you want to try me right now? Do you want?
Yeah. Will you just give us a rundown of the whole movie, please?
Like, I was gonna say, if you know the movie well enough, if you give me a line, I can probably do it right now. But if not,
I do not know the movie.
Okay,
well.
never mind.
It's been so long since I've seen it, but
gotcha.
I couldn't give you a line, but I mean, I know the scenes pretty well, like visually.
Do you know the dialogue well enough where you could like remember a spot? No pressure or anything.
I mean, how about just the pipe smoking scene?
The pipe smoking scene where he's got his feet in the. Or wait, are you talking about the one where he's looking at the map?
I think they're passing around like a piece.
Oh, you're talking about with the natives. I'm gonna go ahead and not do any of those, any of that. Some people
That's the one part you remember.
At first I thought you meant the Captain
remember-
Hook scene, but no.
I remember the kids getting a little nauseous from it in the scene.
Yeah, no. I know
That's
exactly
funny.
which scene you're talking about, and it's funny. People have been like, "You should do the whole movie," and I'm like, I don't know about the whole movie. Maybe not that whole. that whole
Yeah, I remember a lot of
sequence.
Wendy being, doing her thing. Well, Peter, her fancy whatever, but and him being like, "Girls are dumb. You're dumb, girl." But that's
Girls
all I
talk
really
too
remember.
much. That's
Yeah, that's it. Exactly that.
Well, I was gonna circle back and ask. So, or wait, did you answer your favorite Disney movie? You said you grew up with Peter Pan, and
Those are the ones I grew up with. Favorite Disney movie? Man, I mean, I don't want to sound. I feel like this is a bad answer, but
there's no bad answer.
of the more recent things that have come out, I really enjoyed Tangled.
I love Tangled.
That's a great one. Yeah, always had a bad
so
answer.
good.
And I didn't necessarily get the love for Frozen because I was like, this isn't as good as Tangled.
I agree. No, I 100%
But whatever.
agree. Yeah.
But I haven't gone back and watched any of the ones like Peter Pan and my favorites as a kid, like Aladdin and stuff. I haven't seen those in years, so maybe those hold up a lot better.
Yeah.
Aladdin will. Peter Pan,
Aladdin's good.
I love, and I think you'll enjoy, but I don't know. Obviously I'm biased towards it, so I can't be. I'm not the right person to ask about that. How about Pixar for both of you? What's your favorite Pixar movie?
Well, we just watched Soul.
We saw that last
Oh,
night. That was
I
really
still need to
good.
see that. I haven't seen that or Onward.
I think that one's Onward's not that great, but
I didn't care
Soul
for
I think
Onward.
is up there for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Would you say it's your favorite?
Obviously.
No, not my favorite. It's gonna be a long time before something beats Wall-E for me. Wall-E hits all those notes and beats that I like.
Wally's great.
Yeah, Wally's
How about you, Shelby?
I gotta say, Wall-E is really, really good for me. But if I want a cozy movie that I watch all the time too, Ratatouille, man. I
Ratatouille's
love
great.
Ratatouille. I love the food. I love Patton Oswalt. I love the little rats and their little hands.
Anton Ego.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ego. I love the little man with his big hat, the little
Yeah.
French man that's mean. It's all good for me.
All
love
my
that.
favorite elements of a movie. A
Yes.
small French man who's mean with a hat. Anton Ego.
Little rats with hands.
Rats
yes.
with hands. My favorite is Toy Story, actually. The first Toy Story.
Yeah, I would put the Toy Story trilogy up there as well, for sure.
Trilogy.
The fourth one. Yeah.
Trilogy,
the fourth
yes.
The fourth one left a lot to be desired for me.
Fourth one.
Not enough Buzz. They turned Buzz into kind of a doofus, I thought, and I really like Buzz.
Yeah, fourth one sucked ass.
I got a similar vibe from like Toy Story 4 and Finding Dory and Inside Out all just felt kind of like a scramble the whole time. Where it's just like constantly going from one location to the next.
Yeah, very busy.
They don't let it breathe.
Yeah.
It's the same problem with Star Wars, the new Star Wars movies. They don't let them breathe like the original sort of, like how it used to feel.
Like a
it's
fine wine.
constantly changing and,
Sometimes you just want a moment for the characters to just hang out,
Yes.
get to,
Yeah.
just rest in a scene together. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, look at like Finding Nemo versus Finding Dory. Like the jellyfish scene in Finding Nemo is pretty long, and it starts with, just seeing them after swimming through the trench, seeing them and being like, whoa, and just taking in how they look, and then bouncing on them a little bit. Oh, Dory, don't do that. And then it's a race. And then she's lost in there. It's just like a very long, kind of slow but interesting, and has lots of levels and layers to it.
Yeah.
And I felt like with Finding Dory, just like every second was just like, oh my god, we gotta go here.
Yeah, like the fish getting tossed into the air. Oh, now the octopus is driving a truck or something. I don't remember.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in that movie.
In your memory, you can't like piece it together in a
Right.
linear fashion. You're just kind of like, what happened? It was
Yes.
a barrage.
Yes.
There was a lot of shit going on in an aquarium or in that.
Yeah,
that's all
exactly.
yeah.
But I remember so many parts of Finding Nemo. Maybe
Yeah.
it's because I've seen it more, but
No, it's definitely a much better structured movie. That's why you remember.
okay,
it
all
better.
right,
Yeah.
good.
Because
Yeah.
even I didn't grow up with Nemo. I watched it a couple times, but even I remember like events that happened in that. as well as the fun B plot with what's his name, Gil. You remember all that stuff because it's memorable.
Yeah.
It's memorable and well structured, and not just we'll just have him run around a lot. And that's how I felt about Monsters University as well. Just felt like a lot of things happening that I don't really
very much so
care about. It's usually like the ending of Monsters University I like, and I like the parent stuff in Finding Dory, but it's like one sliver out of like a 90-minute or whatever.
I agree.
Movie that I end up appreciating.
Definitely.
Yeah. I guess just sort of like to just one on a final note, like now that we're kind of talking about like structure and whatever, like what, and I know, and Matt, you're a writer. What are some of your favorite, like, I guess is like a good final note to end on, your favorite stories in anything, whether it's it can be any video game, movie, book, what are some of your just favorite structured stories in anything?
He's ready.
Okay.
He's counting on his fingers.
Okay, so I had you with Disney, and now here we got one for Matt. But I want to hear your answer. I want to hear your answer as well, Shelby.
Oh yeah.
I'll give you, an option for each of those categories. For video games,
okay.
One of my favorite video games ever and favorite video game stories is BioShock. Not necessarily for what happens to you, the player, but the way that Rapture itself tells so many stories.
Yes.
That all come together to paint this thing that happened just before you got here, and so I love that, and just the twists and turns, which I won't spoil.
Sure.
The twists and turns that do happen to the player as well are fantastic. So I'm still waiting for something to come along that sucks me in like that did. For books, I love reading. I love books, but I gotta give it to, for just fun, having a nice poppy read. I would say Shogun is just one of my favorites. I've read it, I think, 3 times now.
Shogun, I'm not familiar.
It's by James Clavell, and he did a series called The Asian Saga that takes place over hundreds of years. But this book in particular is like feudal Japan, and it's got pirates, it's got ninjas, it's got samurai.
Okay.
Gunpowder has just been introduced. Kind of Christianity is taking hold a little bit in Japan, and there's just things are ready to blow, and it's just it's great. And it's basically about this white pirate they call Anjin-san, and he befriends a shogun there, and it's about their relationship and him sort of learning this culture and coming to love it, and it's fantastic. And then for movies, I would say, oh man, movies are hard. Movies, I don't know.
I'm surprised you're not immediately saying Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings is my favorite movie trilogy for sure. The extended editions. That's a good one. I'll go with that.
Okay.
That's
okay.
a nice.
I didn't mean to feed you your answer.
That won't ruffle any feathers, and I don't think many people would disagree that the Lord of the Rings trilogy is pretty unprecedented in what they accomplished there.
Sure. Shelby, you got any answers on favorite stories?
Oh man. For video games, BioShock was the first like actual game that I beat, and it was very.
Wow, that's quite a game to be your first to beat. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, well, I had warmed up to first-person shooters at that point, playing like Overwatch and Portal.
I was there with her the whole time.
He was sitting next
there
to
were
me.
A couple parts that were a little overwhelming for her.
Yeah.
And I took the reins just
I
for a
played it on
second
easy.
at a time.
Yeah, there were some parts where I needed him to help me get through, and he was guiding me if I got lost. But that was a pretty important moment, and story-wise, it was a lot,
Sure.
But I also felt that way. I mean, games are so special. Like, they really, going through a game story is very immersive, more so than like watching a movie, or, you really feel in charge of those decisions, and, even though it's not. But I had a great time with A Way Out and Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
Oh, yeah. Is that the one where you,
yeah.
it's a co-op game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, A Way Out is co-op. And even though the story isn't blow your mind, wow, just the way that the co-op worked with the story was very special for me.
Mm-hmm.
And Brothers, should be played single player, and you're playing one brother on one joystick and one side of the controller, and the other brother on the other side of the controller. And that mechanic comes in a big way at the end that I won't spoil, obviously. But it I beat it in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Cried my eyes out. There's no dialogue in it.
I think Brothers was actually Total Biscuit's like favorite game of all time.
It's really special. It's really special. So I highly recommend it.
Super short too. You
can
get through it in a couple play sessions, if not a single play session.
Yeah, I also feel like I have to shout out Portal. The Portal game stories are just really incredible, and
good call.
Especially Portal 2, the writing is just phenomenal. And then books, listen, I don't read so good. I felt very I got very into Why the Last Man.
Ooh, good one.
Thank you. Which is a graphic novel that Matt introduced to me. And that story was crazy.
I changed my answer to that as well.
Okay.
All right. That's if for people who don't know about a sort of apocalypse that wipes out every man on the planet except for this main protagonist and his monkey.
Yeah. It's Brian K. Vaughan. He did Saga more recently. I think he's still going on that.
Yeah, so it's absolutely incredible. I highly recommend it. So that was pretty good. And then for movies, story-wise, the first thing that comes to my mind is like The Thing. Something like that where you're just like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Good mystery movie.
Yeah.
It involves the audience a little bit more than typical.
Yeah. Those are some solid ass choices.
What about you?
Yeah.
What are your choices?
You stole BioShock. That was gonna be my answer. I will say for movies, one of my favorites is Memento. If you've seen Memento.
Yeah.
I love that, just how it's told. Let's see. I mean, on the anime front, which was there's a show I was recently talking about with a previous guest called Monster. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It's very, very good.
That sounds familiar to me.
Monster is about I'll just give you the premise.
Please.
He's a Japanese doctor who's living in Germany, and he operates. There's 2 people brought in, a boy and like the mayor or something, and he decides the boy came in first. He's going to operate on the boy and save his life, even though the mayor would, that's what would make his career better or whatever. Anyway, He saves the boy. His career is ruined because he didn't save the mayor. But then it turns out the boy grows up to become a serial killer. And he's also part of a secret neo-Nazi conspiracy. And so the doctor is like, I saved his life. I'm going to hunt him down. And that's the initial premise.
Wow, I'm really into that.
I'm going to say, if you just want a really good, just well-written drama, Monster. It's a psychological sort of thriller drama. It still has scenes that haunt me to this day. One of the most sort of mature, well-written anime series of all time. So if you ever want to watch something, you should both check out Monster, especially because I think the writing you'll get a kick out of, Matt, along with just everything else.
Oh yeah,
it's
and that reminds me, I also played Wolfenstein recently, which is very much Nazi Germany, as if the Nazis had won.
I did see your clip on Twitter. That was really funny.
Hell yeah. I mean, as a Jewish person, getting to shoot Nazis in the face, listen, nothing beats it.
I need to play those because I want to kill some Nazis. Oh man,
you gotta play it. Yeah,
it looks fun as hell.
So Monster, you love the story. What else? Give us more.
More stories. Shit.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, I haven't played part 2, but The Last of Us Part 1 is just it's a great one.
Oh man, I mean. The story, okay, this is very divisive.
Sure.
I personally believe the story of part 2 is a banger.
Okay.
a lot of people don't
Yeah,
like it.
I like it as well.
It did win a Game Award for Best Narrative, so you know.
I will play it at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, you're gonna want to set aside some time to be sad.
Yeah, it's emotionally taxing.
And just some other. Let's see, what are some of those just narrative-driven games I've enjoyed? Firewatch. Did you ever play that one?
Oh, I loved Firewatch.
Firewatch was wonderful.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people complain about the ending of Firewatch, but I found it to be poignant and perfect. I found it to be just what it needed. You know? I won't spoil, but
I don't know if I think it's perfect, but I didn't need it to be perfect. I honestly honestly loved it for what it was. Like
exactly.
Yeah. So I that one's great. And What Remains of Edith Finch. You played that one?
I was also gonna say Edith Finch. Yes.
I really enjoyed that one. So
I had a hard time after I finished it being like, was that good? I was like, what? Like, what did I even whatever? And then I watched someone's video on YouTube, and I don't remember who made it, but it's called the Villain of Edith Finch or something, of What Remains of Edith Finch, and it really helped me kind of come to terms with what I had just seen, and I agree, that's a really solid story.
Yeah, no, I think for me, you know, games that are short are a big plus for me. It's either I got to be able to play this game in like 3 hours, or I'm going to spend 500 hours getting every last little thing in it. There can be no in between for me. I just started my fucking 6th playthrough of Fire Emblem Three Houses. So like, you know,
oh my god.
So it's like, you know, wow. I will obsess over something, but like short bite-sized games that tell an interesting story, go out of the box, are just, you know, imaginative and wild. Those are like my favorite experience. Like
wow, you would really like Brothers then, I think.
Oh yeah.
I just you describing it, I'm like, and A Way Out I heard was good too. I'm like, both of those are already on my
I mean list. You and Anne Marie could play A Way Out together and just get to the ending, and you'll both be looking at each other like Yeah, exactly.
Good stories that make you go that's
yeah.
that's my next YouTube video.
Right? I know. Let
good
us know
stories that make you go
if you need a with a big shocked face on the
phone.
Good.
Or a expression on
yeah. Exactly.
Okay. This has been great. Where can people find you?
YouTube.com/girlfriendreviews.
That's correct. On Twitter, we are at It's GF Reviews, because Girlfriend Reviews is too long for Twitter, apparently. We're also on Instagram, Girlfriend Reviews, but Twitch, Girlfriend Reviews.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/Girlfriend Reviews.
The best place to get to know us is on Twitch. We're very active with our chat. That's where you can really see behind the scenes and get to know the real us. And our YouTube channel is where you'll find the more high quality curated jokes and content.
Sure.
Twitch is more you're gonna find a lot of fart jokes and
just it's
us being stupid.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Listen, there's every person is a spectrum of everything, right? And you know, to get everything is great. You know, you gotta have you know, the high quality, you know, stuff and the fart jokes. Everybody's got both. So
yeah, and you get more fart jokes on Twitch. It just so happens.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, you two. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Dude, this has been awesome. It's so great just chatting with you and catching up and hanging out. So thank you so much for having us.
Likewise. And once all this COVID is done, we should absolutely play some games.
I would love to do that.